Good morning, David Garrison with Apache Village. We're giving you your video demonstration, your virtual demonstration here on one of our units on the lot. This is your Jayco. It's a 319 entry door. Has two locks, a deadbolt and a door lock, both the same key. Jayco has gone to the one key system. One key will work every door on this coach. You don't have to have a big handful of keys just to go in camping with. Also have the deluxe entry steps, very solid, very good. There's no wobbling to them. They just lift up. There's a gas assist right over here. So it's literally one finger to move this. Now you're gonna get on uneven terrain. That's gonna happen. It's not necessarily gonna be perfectly level out in front of your campground. These legs will go in and out by pushing this little pin on the side. This one's been in there a while. Let's try the other side. Yeah, it'll come out. It comes out. You can run your legs up and down in these holes accordingly. Now, that being said, if you've got this too high, when you set it down like this, now you'll see that it doesn't let the sill go all the way down. And what will happen is your door will catch like this. If your door does that, you're up too high. Lower your legs until you get the proper clearance that you need. Like that. Both sides do not have to be identical. This side might be longer, it might be shorter than that one, depending on the terrain you're in. But if they are equal, what I like to do is I see no hose showing. So I'll go to this one. I'll get it with no hole showing. Take my pin, and we're gonna go through this hole right here. You'll know your line as soon as you see the hole open up. Put it in, put it down. Now you'll see the door is back on the sill where it's supposed to be. So door will open, door will close. Just remember, if your door doesn't want to close, you're up too high. Now, these doors are very stiff because you'll notice they've done away with that normal little latch they used to put on these doors that everybody would rip off. Now they just got the hinges where they're very stiff, so the door will kind of stay wherever you put it. That would be fully open. You have the assist handle. You have a power awning with an LED awning light. On the slide out also, power awning with the LED awning light. Both are controlled from the inside, and we will get into that as soon as we get onto our inside. And we'll walk a little further along, and we'll open up our big compartment. You have two switches. One switch will turn the bright lights on, but at night times you got neighbors, they're probably not going to appreciate those bright LEDs. And the other one is a blue LED strip that gives you light where you can do stuff in here, but not overpower everybody. You have a 110 outlet, and you have an outlet for an exterior TV. If you decide to put an exterior TV in here, it's very simple. You just pull the screws out that holds this shelf in, take the shelf out, figure out what size TV. Usually 24 to a 32 inch will fit just fine. You can mount it in there, plug it into the coax, boom, you got outside TV. You have another outlet here. That's a GFCI outlet, just like you have at your home, in your kitchen, your bathroom, in any wet location. Something happens, something gets wet, electric gets wet, instead of shocking you or doing anything bad, it will trip it out here. You'll see a little red light come on. Button says test and reset. Just reset it and go on about your business. Now, if you try to reset it and it doesn't reset, unplug whatever you got plugged into it. Try it one more time. If there's nothing plugged in and it trips, then you have a problem. We need to look into it. Radiant. They call it a barbecue grill for a couple people. You can probably barbecue some burgers on or steaks. Plugs onto your propane system. You come down under here. There's a Right here's the quick connect. You plug it in here. And on yours, it's right underneath here. You'll see my finger in the outlet. You pull the rubber plug, push the collar back, slide the nipple in, release it, pull the lever forward, and that gives you propane up to your grill. Now these are a little hard first few times you use it, so you get a little wear onto the coupler. When you pull that back, you really push in hard to get it to lock in. Also out here you have, I call it a beer refrigerator. If you like sodas, that's fine too. You can call it a soda refrigerator. But it's a nice little refrigerator. It runs on 110 volt electricity. You have a thermostat here. Goes from off all the way to 7. A lot of times if you're running it fully wide open, right up in here, if you put a drink, water, soda, iced tea, or beer, it'll tend to want to freeze. Normally 5 to 6 is a good range to work in. You have the Goodyear tires, 80 PSI, and they do have nitrogen in them. Nitrogen is supposedly the molecules are different there, less prone to normal air leakage if you leave it sitting for a long period of time. Easy lube axles. Once a year you should bring your coach in and let us pull the axles, pack your bearings, adjust your brakes, take an overall look at the condition of your running carriage on this. You are carrying a bit of weight, so you always want to be safe. You don't want to be that guy on the side of the road with one wheel off trying to figure out what the heck are you going to do now. Remember, 1 year, 10,000 miles, bring it in, let us do it. Unless you're comfortable doing it yourself, but it's a good idea to let us do it and get it going for you. You also have an awning on this side. Radio antenna is locked in the horizontal position so it doesn't scrape your awning going in and out. So with both awnings out, you got plenty of shade up for the whole family on this side. Right here you have a spare tire crank. We have a manual handle. You stick it in there and it'll lower the tire, which is located underneath the unit. It'll lower it down to the ground. You come to the back, you'll notice one thing missing, a bumper. They're kind of doing away with bumpers now. I don't know why. I think it'll look cleaner without the bumper. But you do have a hitch. Now you can pull 300 pounds of tongue weight, or you can pull 3,000 pounds of gross. You can put a bike rack in there to carry bikes, 3 or 4 bikes, however many you need. It is pre-wired for a backup camera. Now this they're going back to, these things have backup lights on them now. One in each tail light assembly and one big light bar across the top. You notice you have dual lights on the upper on each side. One of them is going to be your clearance lights, your driving lights, when your headlights are on. The other is going to be an extra turn signal light, so it'll be up there blinking and doing its thing when your turn signal's on. That way people don't look down low, they'll see it blinking up high. Just another safety feature by Jayco. On this side, have the rear gray water tank. This is your gray water dump valve, just like it says here. You also have 2 up front that we'll get into. Your gray water is your soapy water, your kitchen sink water, your shower water, stuff like that. If you got the sewer hose connected and you put in a sewer outlet, you can leave this valve open all the time. Just let the gray water run on out. We get up front and talk about the black water tank. We'll go into a little more depth of how you should use your system then. Now, we got a slide out. Underneath the slide out, you have some rams. You can also see your electric leveling jacks on the rear and the rear tires. Now, the rams on the slide outs, you need to keep your eye on them. If they get dirty, they get rusted, spray a little lubricant on them. Either slide out lubricant, WD-40, white lithium grease, spray silicone. You just want to keep them lubed and keep it moving freely. Same thing with your seals here. They'll tend to get dry and get brittle. They won't be pliable. You want to make sure you get those lubricated. Slide out seal lubricant's probably the best, followed by spray silicone. Always make sure they're loose, because these are brittle. If they're hard, it makes it harder for the slide out to work. So keep them nice and pliable. You have the same Goodyear tires on this side, 80 PSI. Now under here you'll see your main dump station. Black water and the gray water from your big areas, your kitchen sink, your shower, and your toilet. The valves to work these, your sewer hose goes on here. Sewer hose will go down into the hole in the ground at your campground. To work the system, you come right here. You have cable operator valves, and they tell you exactly what to do. Gray water holding, gray handle. Black holding tank, black handle. This is for your sink, your shower water, your soapy water. You can leave this open all the time and just let the shower and sink water, bath water just go right on out into the sewer. You do not want to do that with your black water tank, because with any toilet, even our home toilets, it's only going to flush so much. So what happens if you leave this open all the way? You're going to use the toilet. Your solid waste will just stay in the bottom of the tank while the liquid waste will run out. And over a period of time, and I'm talking fairly fast time, half a summer, 2 months of constant usage with it, you'll cut down the volume of your tank, because you're going to have a solid pyramid of human waste. All the liquid's already gone. So what you want to do, leave this valve shut. Take a look at the monitor panel inside. When it says you've got 2/3 of a tank, half a tank, whatever it says you got, get some volume in there. That lets the toilet chemicals. You always use toilet chemicals. You want to use enzymes, any Aquachem, whatever you're comfortable with using. I prefer the enzymes, because the enzymes will digest the waste and the toilet tissue a lot better. So I look at my panel and it says, hey, I got 2/3 of the tank. Okay, come out here, you pull it, you let it flush the system clean. Then what I would also tell you to do is you're working with the black tank. You want to flush that tank clean. That's what this little fitting here is for. Black water tank flush. With this valve in the open position, with the hose hooked to here, turn the hose on at the spigot and let it rinse the inside of the tank. There's a fitting that goes inside your tank, and it just sprays water all out. It keeps your probes clean, keeps the tanks clean. Clean probes will always give you a good reading. A clean tank won't smell. Easy to maintain. 50 amp service cord. We also are including with your coach a 50 to 30 adapter and a 30 to 15 adapter, so we can adapt it all the way down to the house size outlets. Issue is with your house size outlets, you do not want to run your roof air conditioners on them, because all you're going to eventually do is either trip the breaker or you're going to melt that little adapter down. You always want to make sure you're on a 30 to run your air conditioners. 50 is preferable, 30 is okay. When you got power, this little blue symbol in here is going to grow blue on you. Intake and exhaust for your furnace. As it says, it does get hot. So caution if you got young children from running up and touching it if you're fall or winter camping and they run up and grab it. Same thing here with your hot water heater. It also says hot. This is your intake and your exhaust for the hot water heater. It will also get very hot. Out here, when we winterize the unit, we always make sure we leave this plug out. Plug goes in right here, and it just threads into the system. But you always want to make sure, whether you winterize it, I winterize it, or somebody else winterize it, that thing needs to be pulled out to make sure there's no water in the unit. Now, that being said, there's always a little water, always a little bit in the bottom. But with this out, water freezes, it expands. You got a place for it to go. If you leave this thing full of water all winter long, and trust me, it happens a lot, you got to come back in here in the springtime and I need to replace the aluminum tank. It's about a $1,000 deal to replace this aluminum tank. So make sure whoever winterizes it gets this out and lets it go. standard pressure relief valve. You have them on your water heater at home. This is your burner assembly. That's your printed circuit board. This will run on gas, propane, or it will run on electricity. One heats up just about as fast as the other. There's going to be no temperature difference. It all works under the same thermostats. I mean, maybe 5 minutes quicker on gas. Can you run them both at the same time? Yes, but if you're paying for electricity to campground, I'm going to run mine on electricity and not burn my propane up. Propane's no longer cheap. We go to our main hookup area. Now, we have a little light here. You'll see a little fitting right here. Little rubber cap. You just pull the cap off. This is wired for solar. If you get a suitcase solar panel system, or you've got a solar panel you mount it on something, you can wire it directly to here and it will charge your batteries up. A lot of people do it, or you can actually put solar panels on the roof. But they make it nice and easy for you to do it. You have an outside faucet with a quick connect. We have the fitting inside. It's got little garden hose, a little hand sprayer on it. You plug it in there. Hot and cold water. If your kids get out and get dirty, if the dog gets dirty and gets towards a skunk, easy to wash and clean them off out here. You have just what this exactly says. It's a hot water heater bypass valve. When you're doing your winterizing, you don't want to get any antifreeze in if you don't have to. So we go to bypass. That will keep the antifreeze from going in here. Have a red light. Turns on when your pump's on. Satellite, cable TV, and that auxiliary is actually for a second satellite receiver. If you've got a portable satellite that's got 2 coax fittings on it, what you do is you take the main connection and you hook it to satellite. That will send your satellite signal into the main TV viewing area. You take the second coax on your satellite and you run it in auxiliary, and it will pump the auxiliary to the bedroom speaker. That way you can run 2 different satellite receivers at one time. Black water flush. Now, this is our whole water system right here. These 2 valves, these 2 fittings. And it's very simple. They've got it labeled. But the easiest way to do this, if you're going camping and you're going to go to a place that doesn't have water available, naturally you're going to want to take water with you. So what we do is we want to fill our water tank. And unlike some of the older coaches, in the old days, there's just not a separate fitting to put a garden hose in to fill the water. What you're going to do is go to the city water connection, put your garden hose in it, and you're going to go, look, I want to fill my tank. So you find the tank fill. It says the green arrow this way, blue arrow here. What's going to happen now is it's going to take your city water coming in here. It's going to divert it into the freshwater tank. You can sit inside and watch the monitor panel that says it's full, or you can futz around out here until it overflows. It'll just come out the bottom of the coach. It won't hurt anything. That's what the overflow is made for. Now, if you're going to a place and you know there's water, well, you don't want to carry the extra water because it's 8.3 pounds per gallon, which is fine. So you're going to go use their water connection. So you get there, you get hooked up, you plug your garden hose onto this fitting. Now, we want to work on city water. So green this way, blue this way. It bypasses the pump and sends city water to all your interior and all your exterior fixtures. Pretty simple system. Now, if you're out camping, let's say you go to Grandpa's farm where you're carrying your own water and you're going to need to use the water pump to get water for your shower, your sink, your hot water heater, that's fine. We're dry camping. What means dry camping means we have no water available to us. So we're going to go to green down for blue out. What this does now is it takes the water out of your freshwater tank with the pump and it sends it through all your fixtures. It will pump up the pressure, turn itself off. As you use something, hot water, cold water, whatever water, it will sense a pressure loss, it will kick on, run more water throughout the system. So it's not running all the time. Now, probably the hardest thing I got to explain to you out here is how to winterize it. not going to get super detailed with it, because every time I do that, a customer tries it and he blows something up or gets it frozen up, and then we have to wind up replacing it. But basically, you're going to hook a hose with a fitting right here. It is provided with the coach. Little short hose, clear plastic. You're going to plug it in here. You're going to put your gallon of antifreeze right here. You're going to take these valves. You're going to go to winterize. Across. Make sure your water heater's in bypass. So now you've got your hose, you got your gallon of antifreeze, you're going to turn the pump on. And it's going to take the antifreeze out of that jug, and it's going to send it everywhere in the coach, build up pressure, and shut off. Now, on a coach like this, you're probably going to need 3 to 5 gallons of antifreeze to do it. So you can either sit here and change it a gallon at a time, or what we do is as soon as the winterizing season comes around, we have a 5-gallon bucket each of us has. We'll take the 3 gallons, pour it all into that one bucket, set the bucket here, put the hose in it so we don't have to run in and out changing them gallon containers. That's just the easy way to do it. Now, after you winterize this thing, you come to the summer or springtime and you're ready to go camping again, you're going to want to sanitize or clear the system out. Now, you can do that also by putting a garden hose right here in this fitting and go to sanitize. Run the water through the system till you get no pink anywhere. What I recommend is after you get to that point in time, take the water heater, put it out of bypass, and let it run, because it's going to flush anything out of here. Because remember I told you there's going to be a little bit of residue in that bottom in there all winter long. So let your garden hose flush it for a minute or two. Clean that out a little bit. Turn your hose off. Put your fitting back in here. You're ready to go camping. That's it in a nutshell. It's not complicated. You just have to remember step by step by step, because one misstep and bad things happen. The toilet valve will freeze, which is usually one of the first ones. You got to be very, very, very careful with it. I highly recommend at least come in here and let us do it the first year. It's a little bit of money, but if we freeze something up, you're covered. It doesn't come out of your pocket. Because if you freeze something up, it's $135 an hour, and the stuff gets real expensive real fast. Okay, we have our flow-through storage compartment. You have a light here. The light goes 2 ways. You go to the right, and the light can turn off and on as you want it. Or if you turn the switch to the left, it's on a sensor. There's your little sensor. You can shut the door, light goes off. Open the door, light will come on. If you leave the door open, after a while, that light's going off, but every time somebody walks past it, it's going to come on. You have your inverter. The inverter is basically going to power up your home or residential style refrigerator, and there's a couple outlets in one of the TVs that it powers up. That is if you're going down the road, you can turn that on, let your refrigerator stay nice and cold while your truck's pulling this. All right, welcome back for your virtual walkthrough. Up front, we have the MORryde hitch pin box. We have 2 switches here, and you notice they're covered with clear rubber. That's so the water don't get in them. It covers LEDs and the orange LEDs. Directly behind it, you have a hitching light. It's controlled with a button on the back side of the light. It just turns it on and off. Have your hitch pin box. I highly recommend you get a Teflon pad for this. Just keeps it nice and clean. You don't have to worry about putting grease on it. It's always lubricated for you. Now underneath here, you have a big storage area. There's not much you can hurt in here. You have your jack control pad system. You have individual motors on each jack. If you're working your jacks and one seems to be a little faster than the other or coming down a little further, do not worry about it. That's just it's programmed into it so it gets the coach level. Your batteries for your 12-volt batteries. One battery, if you don't have a home style fridge, you got a residential fridge, I always recommend 2 batteries. Red is positive, black is negative. If If you want to add more batteries, you can stack batteries in there as much as you want. They all go through a 120 amp breaker. Now, if you draw too much power, what'll happen is that little yellow flag will come down. If you got no power in the coach and that's down, all you need to do, click it back up. All there is to it. You have your breakaway. It'll hook up to your hitch. If something happens and this gets away from your vehicle, it'll pull this pin and apply your trailer brakes. Coming around this side, again, we have our power awning, LED strip, 110 volt electrical. The extra propane tank, we have two on the other side, one on this side. Storage compartment. You see you have a panel here. It's held on by two screws. It says low point drain. When you're winterizing it or draining your water system, if you pull those two screws, they're a number 2 square head, pull them, you'll see a little T-handle on two drains in here. Just pull up, water will drain out. When you're done draining the water, just close the handles off and you're good to go. You have a light. You have tire pressure gauge provided by the tire manufacturers, which would be Goodyear. Coax outlet, if you want to get cables, satellite, or antenna out here, you can mount a TV out here. And 110 volt for the TV. Now this light, as with the light on the other side, it can be either on and off, or you can leave it on and it will motion activate. This rubber right here, you're going to get this compartment dirty. You're going to get wood, fishing gear, lawn chairs, lawn rugs. If you get it dirty in here, it's pretty simple. Just to wet wipe it out, power hose it out. I usually get a wet jet vacuum system. Buy at the store for $29. Put it in there, you press the button, it squirts, you wipe it right out. Exterior speakers, step light. Now a little bit about your roof on this. Jayco builds a strong roof. You can get up on the ladder, get up on the roof, do just about anything you want. Common sense will tell you, you don't want to stand on top of either of the air conditioners and you don't want to stand on top of your roof vents. But as far as walking around up there, going up there to get some sun, stuff like that, feel free to do it. You're really nothing you're going to hurt up there. But while you're up there, you might want to look at your roof sealant. It's a self-leveling Dicor roof sealant. This particular sealant is going to be fairly well color matched because it's going to be a gray. If you're walking up there, you say, oh, wait a minute, there's a little crack in that sealant, or there's a bubble in the sealant. You come in, you get a tube of the sealant, you put it in a standard painter's caulk gun, walk up there, squirt, squirt, squirt. It lays down, flattens out, and fills all your gaps and voids. You have to do that once a year. But I usually tell most people, if you're up on the roof doing something, take a look at it. Because sometimes you're going to be going in these old campgrounds, you're going to have tree limbs, stuff like that, scrape against the roof, and it'll nick the sealant up a little bit. You don't want to let your roof sealant get bad, or then you get in here and we have wall problems. And it is not fun, and it is not cheap to replace a wall. Okay, that's your experience on the outside. Now let's go inside, take a little virtual dim.